Hello again, Sagittarius. Thanks for joining me. Are you new here? Welcome. Hope you'll enjoy the brief, as I said in the previous reading, Oracle Express. We zipped through this, but I just want to touch on some of the pertinent aspects that are influencing you over the coming weeks. And importantly, we see the full moon that takes place on the 2nd, straight off, influencing your career here up in Virgo. But notice down here as well, Sagittarius, the strong opposition flavour from these planets in your 4th house of domestic activities. That's powerful. It's significant. You've got a lot of emotional energy and drive here. Subconscious drive too, with Moon ruling your 8th house, but being opposed by all these planets in your domestic sphere. You've got the drive to do what you want in your work, but you've also got this challenging energy here in the 4th house. Mind you, Venus has a lovely positioning here. It is ruling your 6th house of work. It's exalted in Pisces, and it has what we call directional strength. The directional strength indicates that in the northern part, because this part of the horoscope is north, if you're looking perhaps at work, some opportunities in work, the northern direction is probably going to be lucky for you, notwithstanding this opposition aspect. Socialize a little bit around the 3rd and 4th as the moon moves through your 11th house. Even if you find that some of your company is a little sort of withheld or suppressed, that might depress you a little bit as the moon moves there into this 12th house. But that's also lucky, and we can see around the 7th, when the moon and Jupiter make that close contact, it's rather lucky. You might hear something from afar because the 12th house is long distance. It's also lucky in terms of spiritualizing your inner self. I don't always mention this, well, astrologers don't, but I like to bring it up occasionally, that although this area relates to your domestic sphere, it does have to do with your inner peace of mind. And the spiritual component here of Moon and Jupiter influencing this area shows us that you can harmonize things a little bit more, especially because at that time also Mercury and Venus move out of this 4th house and bring a slightly amorous, curious, creative streak by being in this 5th house. The Moon and Mars here on the 10th is a little dramatic, a little angry. You're impulsive, you want to get things moving. Financially, there's a bit of a slowing down here around the 11th and 12th with the Moon, Saturn, Pluto. You're intense about it, but you can't, you can't force the hand on that. Some things you've just got to flow with, and that's the problem you're going to have here. I guess the proverbial immovable object being hit by an unstoppable force. So that could be a big conflict there. This is speculative as well, Sag. You've got these planets here. The 7th house is partnerships. Venus is related to debt. It's not good to have the planet of debt there in the 5th house of speculation. Just take it easy. The 17th is the one I'm interested in here because we have that new moon there in that 4th house right here. And just as Mars, one of your best planets, 5th house of love affairs, moving in the 2nd house. If you weren't winning or gaining prior to that, the position of Mars in the 2nd house of finances here is lucky, although it can be frustrating. You want things still to be moving quicker and you can't get that happening here. And that's the result of the Mars and Saturn combination in your 2nd house of income. Moon in the 6th house. Now let's look at that, because that there is usually considered a bad position, but being the ruler of your 8th house, this constitutes what's called a cancellation of the negativity, and that brings with it some cancellation of your debt. Here we see the transit after the 21st of the Sun into the 5th house, a lot of focus here, and at that time, look here at Mercury moving into the stationary and then retrograde position. It's going to go backwards here. So whatever you were doing here may have to be done again. There's a strong, powerful influence here in the 5th house. That's that creative area. But Mercury is your relationships. It's your profession. And there's some sort of turnaround, or there could have been an error made where you have to rectify that. In any case, The retrogression of a planet has a lot to do with a review, and that will continue for a little bit of time here. 8th house moon, that's another slightly problematic one there, as this hits the midpoint of the Mars and Saturn. That can really devitalize you and worry you over money, because this 8th house is money. And it could have to do with other people's money. It could have to do with your debts. It could have to do with loans that you're taking out at this time. We're coming to the end of the month. The 9th house position of the moon is nice. Along with this triangular aspect of the planets in the 5th house, that brings you back into a little bit more of a semblance of creative control and satisfaction. Again, that's still challenged. This creative impulse you've got is the way for you to overcome any of the worries and concerns that you have over finances. Throw all your energy into this area, Sag, and you'll feel a lot happier. The final days of the month are again here, 10th house, which is career. And then right on the 31st, you see the exiting of the moon into your 11th house of social activities once again. And it's interesting, it's moving back in to the full moon phase for the second time in 1 month. So there's a strong accentuation on the friendships, social activities, and also to a large extent redefining what it is, especially under this retrograde Mercury, what it is you want from your finances, what it is you want in terms of your life goals, because the 11th house has a lot to do with that. Subscribe, please. And also, please, can you go to my website? I'm only able to give you like a brief, superficial view of this, but there's a lot more to be discovered there at astrology.com.au. I hope you'll join me there, as I hope you'll join me next month again too. Here, same time, same channel. Look after yourself. Bye-bye now.